Okay, I heard enough. I actually just did my research on a lot of the music that came out in the early 2000s, Destiny's Child. I got my little list right here. Sorry if you guys can't read this. The marker was going out, but I want to just try to get this through. Don't worry, I'm going to go ahead and read it. But I'm basically going to say that this is the 5 reasons why women are the way they are in America, which I'm pretty sure a lot of us can all agree with. They're pretty much done. And I believe that the reason is because of the rap music and the R&B music. People want to kind of act like R&B is this soft music culture, but let's be real, man. It kind of started already happening in the early 2000s. I hate to say it because I think that Beyonce is a very talented artist, and I'm sure that we all appreciate her and appreciate her craft, but what she was doing with Destiny's Child is just like, it was the beginning of the downfall of relationships between men and women, such as we had songs like Bills, we got songs like Survivor. That was the big one right there, man. I'm also listening to the one that was Soldier, but even others like Scrubs, which wasn't Destiny's Child, but I'm gonna get into that. Coming to America to Find a Wife, even though that was an Eddie Murphy movie, but come on, man. Nowadays, let's be real, that was a movie. Let's talk about the truth, man. And right now in American culture, women are only seem to be impressed with celebrities or men that are like ballers or making 6 figures, 7 figures and all this stuff, which is just not really in the average man. And I believe that this music right here is the source of that. I'll start with number 1. To tell you the truth, like Destiny's Child, I was going back and listening to a lot of Destiny's Child, and I gotta say that I think that they should be number 1. I was listening to some people talk about this. Ruffneck by MC Lyte. And this is really surprising to me because MC Lyte is like a dope rapper. She's actually considered like one of the few female rappers who's actually like a real lyricist. But in this song, she's talking about how she likes her men rough, she likes them to be gangsters, she likes them to be thugs. And I believe that this was the beginning of, well, maybe not the beginning, but make women want to start dating gangbangers, like making gangbanging cool. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was in school, I remember being a thug, you know what I'm saying? Like Tupac or whatever, or being a gangbanger. Like that was cool, and that's what all the women were attracted to, which still is somewhat the case. Maybe even more so in some ways now. But you do see more nerds are tending to pull women now. Why? Because now women are more infatuated with money than ever before in this country. Well, all over the world, but especially in this country. And that's gonna, take me to 2 with Destiny's Child. But before I get into that, let me just finish up on MC Lyte. She had some interesting lyrics on this song, and I would love to ask her these questions. But on her song Ruffneck, Carl Kanai sagging, Timbo's dragging, front in his ride with his homeboys bragging. That's interesting because that'll bring me to Scrubs next. But lying about the light, how he knocked the boots last night. That's interesting. So I guess she's kind of saying that she's hooking up with dudes who were fronting back in those days. Keep in mind, y'all, this is before the internet. But then she says some other stuff too. Now, this was the interesting one. Verse 2. This was the one where I was like, wait, what? MC Lyte said that? Where she says, I need a man that's quick and swift to put out the spliff and get stiff. Okay, so we're talking about sex and drugs, right? And keep in mind, man, like, what label is this that put this out? When we go over these songs of the industry that put these songs out, because let's be real, man, I just did a stream where we all agree. Back in those days, you couldn't just get online and, go buy a laptop and, build a studio in your home just like that. You actually had to have skills, or maybe not really have skills, but you had to be able to get signed to a record label to put your music out there. So keep in mind, man, this is before the internet. For those of you I know that don't know, don't do your research. Okay, so she was on Warner Music Group. Wow. It's Elektra. Elektra's owned by Warner. So again, these are all being pushed by the top mainstream record labels. And then it's also going to make you think like, okay, who's running these record companies that's pushing this message? This is the message that's getting pushed. Like, yes, ladies, in the hood, especially in the inner cities, women of color. It's okay, it's good to go date a thug. You know damn well that this man probably cannot provide for you, doing time, you know what I'm saying? But this is the man that y'all should be attracted to. You know, that was a message that's being pushed, because we could have had rappers come out and say, no, actually, you know, you want to date someone who's like a lawyer or who's striving to be, you know, some important figure in society that's going to go on to do good things for the world and possibly change the world. No. You don't want that. You want a roughneck. You want a thug. You want a Timbo wearing, jeans sagging nigga. That's what you want. That's what's attractive. Man, I'm telling y'all, this was an influential message that was pushed. Almost kind of like a psyop. Do I think MC Lyte is a psyop? No, but I do think that there are some rappers that are. Let me go to verse 2. And I didn't want to spend too much time on MC Lyte. I just thought this is where we're beginning. You know, she says boxer shorts, everything fitting large, but he don't gotta be large to be in charge. Pumping in and out and in and out, and here we go. He knows exactly how I want my flow, and that's slow. Never question, can he get buck wild? He's gotta smack it, lick it, swallow it up style. Drink a beer, sitting in his chair. Hands in his pants, fiddling with his dick hairs. Yo, really? Really, MC Lyte? Let's move on. Number 2, Destiny's Child with telephone bills, or just bills. Of course, the big one is Survivor. And then I also just peeped up, let me make a note of this. I also just peeped up the other one, Soldier. Soldier's another one where it's kind of similar to Ruffneck, where they're talking about how they want a thug and they like tough guys. She even says something like, she said she's something like she likes her boys from the BK and he's got to carry big things, if you know what I mean. So basically, I think she's saying that she wants her man to be strapped. You know what I'm saying? Was Bugaboo also Destiny's Child? Let me look that up real quick. Bugaboo. You a bugaboo, a bugaboo. Man, all these songs were like stupid. I thought they were stupid when they came out, and I still think they're stupid today. All of Destiny's Child songs were about men that were just trying to holler at them because they're pretty girls and they're cool and they're walking with their homegirls. I'm like, I ain't gotta talk to you. If you ain't paying my telephone bills, you ain't paying my automobiles, you ain't paying none of them bills. But if you pay those bills, then maybe we can chill. I'm just like, yo, that's where it all began. And I remember when I first heard that song, I remember seeing that song on MTV, and I was just like, oh, so that's what it is now? That's what it is? Like, I gotta pay your telephone bill to take you out on a date? You see, that's what I'm trying to tell y'all, man. This was the beginning of the simp generation. This is when the internet had just started to come out. Like, Instagram wasn't even out yet. I think it was like Facebook at the time. I mean, no, actually, Facebook wasn't even out when this song came out, but I think Facebook was out definitely when Survivor came out. I'm not sure about Soldier. I think Soldier too. Yeah, came out just right after Facebook came out. So just about the same time that Facebook came out, this song came out. So they're coming out with these songs right when the internet is hitting, man. See, it's right on time. It's right on time. Now I don't know if that was by design, but man, because look, the internet created men to become a bunch of simps. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I remember back in the days, like when you had to actually go talk to a girl, you couldn't just text. We didn't have phones to text. So like, you had to actually like get up and be like, damn, she looks good. And like, if she maybe gave you that little look, or maybe even sometimes the homegirls would tell you like, oh, she likes you. You better go talk to her. Like you should go talk to her. She likes you. And it's like, oh yeah, okay, let me go holler at her. You know what I'm saying? But after that, man, after cell phones came around and then Facebook especially, I mean, isn't this the real reason why Mark Zuckerberg built Facebook? Was because he was shy and awkward and didn't know how to talk to women. So he created Facebook for the Harvard campus for people that wanted to see what classes other girls were taking. Because, you know, all the students that went there, they wanted to holler at chicks, of course. You know what I'm saying? And they were like, oh, well, how do I holler at these chicks? Well, let me check out their Facebook profile and see what classes they're taking. And maybe I'm going to take some of those same classes too. They do this in the movie, The Social Network. They tell you that. And then Mark Zuckerberg, I'm sure he pretends like, oh, that's not why I built Facebook. I built Facebook so people could connect. Yeah, man, right, dude. You built Facebook so you could find out the girls you wanted to holler at, what classes they were taking, man. So this was like the perfect timing to create the simp generation. Okay? I'm not saying Zuckerberg is a simp. I'm just saying, like, I'm sure a lot of people that were using Facebook were simps, though. You know what I'm saying? But, yo, this is the point, man. So we got telephone bills, we got Survivor, and we got all that other stuff. Scrubs. Oh, man. I didn't like that song either when I first heard it. You know, it's like I said, man, it's interesting that I listened to those songs way back then and I thought they were trash. And I still think that they're trash today. Now, can I still say that they're classics and they do have their time in like musical history? Yeah, I guess. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, these songs were put out to, like, I believe, destroy the black community with whichever way you want to think about it, man. Like, I mean, sometimes I try to think of the right words to say and should I say this and say that. But sometimes I feel like, man, I just gotta say it, man. Like, yeah, man, I feel like this music was put out to destroy the black communities. And they pretend like, oh, this is good music. Oh, listen to these vocals. Oh, look how they can dance. Oh, this is really great music. Oh, and like Survivor, let's not forget that one. That was like the beginning of the whole feminist movement. You know what I'm saying? Where Destiny's Child comes out with the Survivor song, and it's just like, oh, okay, man. Like, oh, you're a survivor. You can do it all on your own. You don't need a man. You broke up with him and you're not going to take that no more. But it's like, yo, everybody knows most successful households, or shall I say, where children grow up in a successful household, they all come from usually a two-parent home, a mother and a father. So if you're saying that, hey, I'm going to break up with this man and I'm not going to try to build with him, I can do it all on my own because I'm a survivor. Nope, that's the wrong message, man. That has not really worked in any society and any culture around the world, especially if you study cultures around the world. And speaking of the world, did you know that if you Google right now the top 10 countries to raise a family, guess what, yo? America is not even in the top 10. What does that tell you, man? People don't even want to come here to start a family, or that are coming from other countries. And if you're already from this country, and your passport is in this country, then it's like, oh, okay, well, here you are. This is what you have. But for those that are like outside, like I said earlier about, hey, man, ain't nobody coming from Russia to try to find a wife in America. You know what I'm saying? And that brings me to the point to where hip hop originated in the United States. New York, Bronx to be exact. You know what I'm saying? Which is dope. But let's not forget, when it originated there, the message was positivity and like getting up out of there and figuring out ways and other ways to be like, yo, man, what should we do? And then it just took over the whole world because, like I said, man, it's just one of the dopest cultures ever created. But I mean, we've been doing this since forever, which is what I had another conversation with somebody. So it's just like, okay, but then I feel a record company, a record industry saw that and said, hey, what are these kids doing out here in New York? Oh, this is pretty dope. Maybe we can monetize this and make some money off of it. And that's exactly what happened. And then what did they do? After they monetized it, then they started telling them, this is the message we want you to push now. This is the message that we want out there. No, don't rap about that. Don't rap about that. Rap about this. Sing about this. Sing about how you don't want a man unless he pays your telephone bills. Sing about that. Don't sing about how, you know, you like this guy and how you think that he's charming and a good guy. Don't sing about that. Don't sing about how you appreciate this man and his charisma. Don't sing about that. Sing about he's got to pay your telephone bills and that he's a scrub sitting on the passenger side of his best friend's ride. I remember me and my friends used to make fun of that. Used to be like, passenger side on his best friend's ride. Man, how corny was that, man? Is that? I mean, come on, man. All right, chapter 4, Paris Hilton and Kim Kardashian. This right here is the beginning of the OnlyFans era. So I did the research on this, which I can't even believe that I did. But Paris Hilton and Kim Kardashian. And in case you didn't know, Paris Hilton and Kim Kardashian used to be good friends. Kim Kardashian was like Paris Hilton's side chick. Paris Hilton was like that social media girl. She was getting pretty famous. I think she even dated Scott Storch and all this stuff. So she was like that influencer. She was like one of the first influencers. So we got to remember that. We got to remember that where Kim Kardashian gets all this, whatever you want to say, swag or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. That might be an outdated word now. But Paris Hilton is where she was influenced where interestingly enough, Kim Kardashian was influenced by Paris Hilton. Okay? So now we all know that Paris Hilton did a sex tape. Can I say this? Man, we're just gonna keep this real. So then Paris Hilton went on and did a sex tape, right? And I looked up the year of the sex tape, and I believe it came out in 2001. So early 2000. So if you think about it, this is before Facebook. This is even before MySpace. I'm not sure how. I think it was actually like released on VHS, and then that's when the internet was really like, all of the internet, I think, was just kind of dark. You know what I'm saying? And you could just go online and watch it. And this is the beginning, but it's not like you got to go like try to search for it. Keep in mind, this is before social media. So you just go online and just look up wherever it was. I don't even know. Well, yeah, Google was around, but I don't know if Google was like as big as it is now. You could just go online and just find this video of Paris Hilton, right? I mean, I don't know if it was that easy to find, but I don't think it was that hard either. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's probably harder today to go find it now. It's definitely harder to find the Kim Kardashian video. I mean, the real authentic one. You could probably find like clips and edits, but it's really hard to find it. So Paris Hilton puts out this tape, and it makes her really famous. Like, she's already like kind of getting famous, but she didn't really have the the separation from her parents, which is the same thing for Kim Kardashian. But the difference was that after she put that tape out, everybody started looking at Paris Hilton as like a star. Like, now I don't even know if let's see, when did she date Scott Storch? What an awkward couple. So they started dating in 2005. So that was after her porn came out. Do you understand what I'm saying? Scott Storch was like that. This is how famous she got. She got famous off of doing this video, and then Scott Storch and other rappers or producers or people in the music industry and in the entertainment industry were like, oh, damn, that's a nice video that you did there. I want to date her. You know what I'm saying? So that's my point. So then let's fast forward to Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian then drops her video, I believe a few years later, like 5 or something years later. I think it was like 2007, something like that, right? With Ray J, okay? The video that made her famous and destroyed Ray J's career. Isn't that interesting how that works? Could this also be going back to what we said about Destiny's Child? Being, the survivor and all that stuff, and being an independent woman and being a woman of power. So Kim Kardashian gets all this praise for doing the video, but then Ray J, his career just goes, pfft. I mean, I don't know if he was really like ever doing anything anyways, but after that video, it was definitely a wrap. I mean, we could tell that Ray J still has not recovered from that video to this day. Anytime he does an interview, anytime he does a talk, anytime he does any type of anything, that video seems to just come back up somehow, some way. My point is that I believe that was the beginning of, they were right on time. Kim Kardashian is bringing out her video right around the time that Facebook launches. So Paris Hilton has her video come out way before social media is even thought of. And then right at the birth of social media, Kim Kardashian does her video with Ray J, and it takes over the internet. Like, can we all agree that thing took over the internet? If you were there for that time, you know what I'm talking about. So that's my point, man. This is what like started the whole culture of women going online and wanting to be influencers and changing, especially American culture. And did you know, by the way, that when I looked up that video with Kim Kardashian, that she was only 23 when she did that video, which isn't really, it's not really old, but it's not really young either. But I mean, it's just kind of like, and especially at that time, it was different. Like if that were to happen today, I think the tables would be turned, especially in today, man, in today's cancel culture and all this stuff and all this stupid sensitive, and people are so much more sensitive now. I think if that video would have happened today, a lot more people would probably be like, a lot more people would be hating. But I think back in that time when it came out, people were just like, oh, this is like all of a new thing. Facebook had only been out for like a few years. So this thing takes over the internet. Instagram's not even thought of yet, okay? Kim Kardashian starts getting big. She starts getting all these sponsorships, all these endorsement deals. And then next thing you know, that brings me to Instagram. Now, Instagram could be a whole nother video in itself. But I tell everybody this moving forward. I mean, especially after our Instagram account, had its troubles and all that stuff. I'm like, yo, man, I don't think that Instagram is nothing more than a dating app. And that's what everybody says, man. I mean, I think when it first started out, it started off as like taking pictures of things that you thought were cool. I don't think it was ever meant for people to be taking selfies and doing all this type of stuff. But then now it seems like Instagram, after Kim Kardashian took it over, because she really runs that site. And I could even go further into Instagram, but I don't think I'm going to do it in this video. I'm going to keep it kind of short. But I think that she started becoming an influencer and started getting these sponsorship deals. I think like with Fashion Nova and all this stuff, and it started off with that. And then now she's taking all these pictures. She's getting famous. She's flying on these private jets, and she's on these trips and on these doing all these rich things. But people forget she also comes from a rich family. So it's like, come on, man. So I think that Kim Kardashian influenced a lot of women to be like her and to only want rich things and to only be around rich men. Even though, well, yeah, most of the men that Kim Kardashian dated, especially after Ray J, were all very successful, rich. I mean, a lot of them happened to be black men, but they were all like football players, rappers, actors, or whatever the heck. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And it was just like, and then her sisters followed the same, tradition. And it wasn't really about being a good woman, like at home, or being a wife, or, she became a wife and she started a family, but that wasn't what she was pushing. She did all that, like, after she had already just, like, kind of, like, did it all. She banged pretty much half of Hollywood or all of Hollywood. And then after that, then she's like, okay, I think I'll have a child with Kanye. It was like, wasn't Kanye, like, on that reality show for a minute? And like she was dating some basketball player, or she was married actually to some basketball player, but she was like friends with Kanye. This is why I always tell people, man, your wife should never have male friends. You know what I'm saying? But in my personal opinion, but she had Kanye was like her friend, and then according to Kanye, he says, yeah, when she was married to him, we were still best friends or something like that, I think he said. And I'm just thinking like, yo, yay. She banged like all these dudes, all these rappers, all these football players. And then after she was like already kind of ran through the whole industry, then it's like you come through and want to start a family with her and you thought that was really going to work out. Let me tell you something, man. First of all, this is a side note. If your girl is taking a bunch of selfies on Instagram, I don't care if she's a paid influencer or she's just doing it for fun. If she's doing it for fun, that's even worse. But even if she's a paid influencer, that's a woman that I think personally that you should not take seriously. And that is the reason why I'm saying that is the downfall of American culture, because there's a lot of women that follow those footsteps and want to be Kim Kardashian. I mean, don't you think that it's a little bit of a coincidence? And again, I don't believe in coincidences, but don't you think that it's a little bit of a coincidence that there's a lot of women, maybe not all over America, but if you go to like major cities like New York, Hollywood, LA, Miami, even like some parts of Texas, and you know what I'm saying? Like some places out there, I'm sure Atlanta, you see a lot of women that have that look, you know what I'm saying? Like that Kim look, or just that look, just like they dressing like that, they wearing their hair like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like it's not very far off from being a stripper. You know what I'm saying? Like what you see women wearing at strip clubs is now what you see women wearing in the streets. You know what I'm saying? But then if you try to holler at them, then that brings me back to point 3. Are you a scrub? Are you going to pay my telephone bills? Are you going to pay their automobiles? That's what it brings it down to. So if you see them walking down the street and you're like, oh man, she look good, I want to holler at her. That's the first thing that she's sticking in her mind. And now we got these social media apps like Instagram, where now these women have so many men that are simping. And this is why I tell men that y'all got to get off of Instagram, because y'all are simping and you're making it worse for those of us that are alpha males. But then not only that, but you're also inflating these women's egos, where half of these women are never going to probably talk to you ever in person. You're even lucky if you get even a response in the DM. Okay, I even see rappers simping. Like I saw that email or DM that Quavo sent to Saweetie when they started beefing. You know that female rapper Saweetie, when they started beefing, she went and started posting his DMs on Twitter. Like she started exposing him, basically saying this nigga is a simp. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to tell you, it's like, but you know, he got the money. He's like, he's making money. He's a rapper. He's doing songs with Drake. You know, like he's out there. He's big time. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, at the end of the day, what happened when they broke up? She basically started exposing the text messages and exposing all the DMs saying, this dude's a chump. He's a simp. Look, when I told him if he want to date me, the first thing she asked him is, what that money looking like? So I'm telling y'all, man, this is on a simp level, on a larger scale. And that brings me to another point to where it's like, it's almost like the record company who is ran by the, who is ran by, how do I say this word? Because it sounds like when you say this word, you get in trouble. It sounds like a lot of this was pushed by an agenda that was pushed by the record companies to make these women only want to date rich men and forget about the average man, or whatever you call average. Like, oh, if he's making less than 6 figures, 7 figures, that's an average man. This man needs to be making at least $500,000 or more. So all the men that are making like $500,000 plus, you know what I'm saying, or at least $250,000, they're taking all the women now. So now we're going back to the times of, I believe that this is the times of like when you had men that would conquer empires and kill everybody and then take all the women and make all the women their wives and then have children with them. You know, we don't even have to talk about the historical leaders that did that. But, you know, you guys can study a little history and see that this was going on since the beginning of time. I feel like we're going back into that culture now where it's like, okay, all of men out here, all of us men that make like over $500,000, we're going to take all the women. And you can look up any dating coach and they will tell you that women do not mind sharing high value men. Okay, if you're a man that's just average or below average, or you know, you just got a basic 9-to-5 job and you're just barely paying your bills and you're just barely getting by, and you can't take her on expensive trips, you don't drive a nice car, or an expensive car, you know what I'm saying? And you don't have all these nice extravagant things, and more importantly, you can't get these extravagant things for her, then you're just considered a basic dude, you know what I'm saying? And it almost seems like, what I'm trying to say is that it seems like an agenda was pushed to create that, because they had Destiny's Child, you know what I'm saying? And all of them pushed that message out there that corrupted the minds of young women. So that's my point, man, that we are now in this culture where women have no respect for men. You know, also these dating apps made it even worse. I mean, maybe in the first beginning when it came out, it was like, oh, you know, this is convenient. I don't have to go out to the club or to the bar to try to meet somebody. I can just try to do it online. But then now we see the downfall of that. Now we see that that has actually ruined the social status in America. So, you know, y'all tell me what you think. I mean, I'm curious to know what you guys think in the comments, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, I could even go deeper in this, and I might do like a part 2 on this. But yeah, man, I mean, you know, and then it makes men go crazy that they have to deal with this, because men have always wanted women since the beginning of time. You know what I'm saying? So if you're creating a message to have women date men who are thugs and who sell drugs, and this is what they do to get by, and like, yeah, it's cool to be a thug, and then all those men that were thugs and said, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna be that type of a dude because that's what's attracting the women, that's what the women like. So then all the dudes start doing that, and then they all wind up in jail, they all can't do nothing, they all can't pay their bills and all this and that, and the women are like, whatever. So now what happens? All those men that are trying to, you know, come back from that, whatever, too late. All the dudes that are making 6 figures, they already came through and scooped them up. So what if it's like these guys that are making all this money are paying the labels to say, hey, you know what? Put this message out here. Put that message out here, because I want all those women. You know what I'm saying? I want all the women, and this is the message that I want out there. And because I have the money to pay for it, I can pay you, the record companies, to put this message out here. I'm telling y'all, man, I really think that a lot of this is by design. I really think that a lot of it is by design, man. But I will say, man, Instagram is an app that needs to be deleted from your phone, especially if you're a man. I think that mostly all women are on Instagram. I think that mostly all women are posting their selfies on Instagram before they send it to you. I think all women have a bunch of men in their DMs on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, on dating apps. So if you piss them off or if you say something that they don't like, and this goes back to Western women, they'll just delete you and just move on to the next, because they probably got a bunch of 10 other chads and whoever else in their DMs asking them what's up. So they could just be like, oh, what next? You know what I'm saying? What next? You know, and that's cool. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? But I just want y'all to understand where we're at. But the point of this video is not really how to pick up chicks. I mean, there's plenty of dating coaches online that you can go watch their content that tell you about that, which I can talk about later. But the point I'm making here is basically, this is the reason why I believe that we are here where we are at, is because it all started with this music that came out in the early 2000s.